episode 157 of the Craft House Magic podcast. My name's Ellie and I'm coming to you from Norwich in Norfolk in the UK, and today is the 18th of March. So welcome everybody. I hope you've all had a lovely crafty week since the last time I've spoken to you, and I'm here to share all the things that I've been making in the last 7 days. So today I have some knitting, I have some dressmaking, sewing, I have some spinning, some confessions, because obviously I couldn't do without the confessions section, so I had to buy something. I have a question from the Ask Me Anything thread and some information on this week's shop update at the end of the podcast. So you can find me on Instagram, Ravelry and Facebook as Craft House Magic, and I have my own website crafthousemagik.co.uk where you can find my hand-dyed yarns, handmade project bags, stitch markers, higher knitting needles, clover crochet hooks and higher crochet hooks. I'll talk a bit more about that at the end of the podcast. And also bag making supplies. We have the Craft 20 a day make along going on both in the Ravelry group and on Instagram. Basically we're doing 20 minutes or whatever sort of regular time period every day, doing a little bit of those sort of long-term projects. And I found actually that if I'm just doing a little bit each day, I tend to enjoy things that perhaps take a bit more time, a little bit more, as it's a bit more of a sort of a me time ritual. So do join in with the hashtag Craft20a day on Instagram, or come and chat along in the Ravelry group. We have a new make along starting next month, which will be shawls, so watch out for that. So get on the lookout for those shawl patterns that you'd like to knit, and we can knit them all together with the shawl along. So that'll be coming next month. So let's get on with the knitting, shall we? First of all, I have another finished object that Liz, my mother-in-law's, knitted for me. And I've had this on my list for absolutely ages. I think 2, maybe 3 years this has been on my list to do. And it keeps getting put to the auxiliary list for my Make 9. So I thought I'll just get Liz to make it. And these 3 yarns I had already planned to make it with. So this is the Snowmelt Shawl by Helen Stewart, and isn't it gorgeous? Absolutely love this. So they're 3 yarns that I've had in my stash for ages, but I'd had them on the shelf and I thought I've had them next to each other for a while, and I thought those 3 would go really lovely together. So the 3 yarns that I put together were these. So we've got this one here, which is a wool barn yarn. That's a very delicate background with some delicate speckles on there. This one is a Hedgerow yarns with a delicate pink background with some speckles on as well. I thought those went well together. And that's from Hedgerow yarns, and that's the Lupin colourway. And then last but not least, this gorgeous yarn from down Sheepy Lane, and this one's called Paper Roses. So those 3 I thought went together really well. You've got a little bit of contrast there, but it's still quite a sort of delicate colour scheme. And I'll show you the shawl a little bit closer up. So we have the start of the shawl is up here, and then it's sort of a half circle really. And I love all of the sections of this. Absolutely gorgeous. And Liz knitted it really quickly. But isn't it stunning? I think you could wear this as a guest to a wedding. I think it's that pretty. So I'm going to save that. Hopefully somebody will get married once we're out of lockdown. So there we go. Just love how this works. This is worked up with the 3 colours. I was a little bit worried that it wouldn't be quite enough contrast, but I love that sort of subtle contrast. So in the pattern you just call the 3 of your yarns A, B and C, and I just said to Liz, just do it random and see how it comes out. And I think that was perfect. Absolutely gorgeous. And I've blocked it out. It takes quite a large area to block it out because it is quite a big shawl, but I use those Knit Picks blocking pin blocks where they've got a strip of plastic with multiple pins in, so you can pin it out a lot quicker than just using single pins. Isn't that lovely? Shall I try it on? I should try it on. I don't think I would want to wear this like at the front like I normally wear things with sort of jeans. You need to wear this shawl over the top. See all that beautiful lace at the back there. So like all of Helen Stewart's patterns, they're brilliant because they are written out in table form and you can tick off each of the rows that you've done. So if you do find it hard to keep a track of patterns, Helen's are wonderful for that. just love how the lace panels are combined. I think originally it was a mystery knit along, which was fabulous, and I wasn't really into knitting mystery knit alongs back then, but I definitely am now. Right, so let's get on to my works in progress with the knitting, shall we? So I have been very monogamous this week. I have been knitting on my V-back tee. So this is the V bit, which is supposed to go at the back, but I am planning on wearing it at the front of the garment, but we shall see what it looks like on. So there's a V here at the neck, there's increase line down the front, so it gives like a defined point pointing down. It's going to be difficult to really show you properly because I've still got it on the cable, but you can see now that I've incorporated all the 3 colourways that I'm using, which is good. I have used these 3 colourways, starting with the lightest at the top, and that is a stranded Dyeworks yarn, and this is in the superwash BFL and nylon base in the Equinox colourway. So that's stranded Dyeworks, Equinox. The one that I blended into next was a Hue Loco yarn, and this one's called Robin's Egg. And then last but not least, we have a Hedgerow yarn that I'm currently knitting with, and this is called Zen Garden. And I thought the darkest of the yarns would be nicer around the middle area. So that's what I'm doing now. So it's basically constructed from the top down, and once you've done so that the point, well, it's supposed to be at the back, the V at the back is long enough, you then start doing short rows, and you can see that there's a wider section of the darkest colour at the back where I'm doing the short rows the deepest, and that's how it's looking so far. I'm hoping that I'll have finished this next week. Hopefully that will be the case, and I can I shouldn't take me too long just to finish the sleeves because they are short sleeve with a little bit of ribbing on, and there's some ribbing around the bottom I think, but I'm quite pleased with how it's come out. It'll be interesting to see how this fits and how this increase line sort of lays, whether it'll sort of go in between my bust and look funny. If it does, I'll just wear it the other way around. But I am quite pleased with how that's coming out. So with the, obviously you need to increase if you're doing it top down, and the increases are actually sort of spread out over the yoke rather than being in a particular place like the raglan area. And I don't think I love that method of construction, to be honest, but I've got past that bit, so it's okay. Also as well, because there are sort of multiple increases on a few of the rows, I'm hoping that that'll sort of block out nicely when it's finished, because you can see areas where the increases are on the garment. Let's see if I can try and show you on camera where you do those increases. I think this line here has got some increases on, so hopefully when it's blocked out you won't be able to see that. So we shall see. So fingers crossed I'll be able to finish this by next week. So that's the V-back tee by Jamie Hoffman. So next we have the dressmaking section, and I have Barbara to assist me with showing you what I've been making this weekend. Thank you very much, Barbara. So Barbara is wearing my Doughnut pyjamas. Actually, she's only wearing the top because bless her, she's only got one leg, so she can't really wear the bottoms. But these are my pyjamas. I literally bought this fabric last week and it's already made up into something, so I feel as if I've justified my purchase now. So this set of pyjamas is made in the same way as I did my other pair a couple of weeks ago. The t-shirt is the Frankie t-shirt by Tilly and the Buttons, and I have made some modifications to this pattern in that I did 3/4 length sleeves, and I did the neckline from the Agnes t-shirt rather than the higher neckline that's in the Frankie t-shirt pattern. I'd actually assembled the t-shirt the first time I made it with a higher neck. Didn't like the high neckline, so then I got an Agnes t-shirt that I'd already made, sort of placed that over the top and made a line where I was going to cut it and cut that neckline off, and then used the pattern piece for the Agnes t-shirt to make obviously the neckline to fit, and that worked out really well. And I've been making hundreds of these. Well, maybe not hundreds, but I at least have 30, I think, which is a bit terrible really. But when you find something that you're really pleased with, I think you might as well make lots of. And it means that my purchase of my stretch book was just really, really good. It's well worth buying. And actually the bottoms as well are also from the same book, Tilly and the Buttons Stretch, and these are the Stella joggers. So I wanted some bottoms that have got pockets in, which is, oh, I love having pockets, even in pyjamas, because sometimes I don't get dressed straight away in the morning, so I need to be able to put my phone in there. And sometimes it's nice to put some pyjamas on in the evening to watch a film in as well, so that's why you need pockets. So there was some modifications I made to the jogging bottoms as well. I did take 2 inches off the length of the leg because I'm quite short. I'm 5'3", and 2 inches off the leg was perfect fit for me. On the waistband I actually narrowed it because the elastic that I could get hold of, which was the Prim elastic, and it was 6 centimeters wide, I think, the actual elastic, so I reduced the size of the waistband by 1.5 inches so that that elastic waist would fit in nicely. And I've just added some bright pink twill tape because I thought that that went with me pink donuts as well, and I absolutely love this fabric, so much so that I decided not to do any contrast pockets or waistband or anything because you can't get enough of the donut fabric. I'll give you a quick twirl on Barbara, and I will actually put these on and give you a bit of a twirl around the lounge just to show you what they look like properly on me. Although I have shown you these pyjama pattern before because I made some a couple of weeks ago. But not only did I make this pair, but I also made a second pair of pyjamas. And if you remember, I made a pair of pyjamas from an Alice in Wonderland print, which looked something like this, well, which looks like this. And I wanted, because actually that print all over was a bit much, I'd picked up a couple of meters of this art gallery fabric in a mint colourway to put with the top that was the whole of that print, so that would sort of contrast nicely. And then I've made a t-shirt to go with the bottoms with the same print just around the neckline so that it contrasts it with it a bit more. So this is basically the same pattern as I've used for this, but I did do short sleeves on the t-shirt just because I thought actually this is a lighter weight fabric. This would be ideal when the evenings are a bit hotter, and it's hotter in bed anyway. I don't need long sleeves then. Although these are 3/4 anyway. I can't bear full length sleeves when I'm sleeping. So I won't do a twirl with these on as well because they're basically the same pattern. So they're just the same Stella joggers with the pockets in, but I haven't put a pull cord in there yet. But I was thinking of trying to see if I could make one out of the tiny little scraps I've got left of this fabric, so that it coordinates. I wanted to do the waistband in this material as well, but I didn't have enough. But I think with the t-shirt being all that fabric and then the cuffs matching it with the bottoms, that'll be lovely, and that'll be enough with the top as well. So those are the other pyjamas that I've made. So this donut fabric was from Fabrics Galore, as well as the Alice in Wonderland fabric. That was also a Fabrics Galore purchase. The mint turquoise coloured art gallery jersey was from Minerva Crafts, and I'll leave links in the description bar and on my website. So that's all the dressmaking I've got to show you, so thank you very much, Barbara. So now I have some spinning to show you. So I have 2 half-filled bobbins with singles on ready to ply together. So this fibre is some merino fibre that I picked up from Fibre East last year, and it is a mixture of all the colours, but it reads as a sort of grey when you look at the whole of the yarn there. which I think is really lovely. I haven't split the colours in any particular way. I've just spun it as it comes, just because it was fun doing it that way, just a nice relaxing thing to do. And what I've done is, instead of doing my 20 minutes of cross stitch in the morning, I've replaced that with doing some spinning instead, because I had started to do 10 minutes of spinning at lunchtime, and sometimes I wasn't going to be fitting that in. So what I'm doing is I'm going to alternate sort of spinning and cross stitch and things in the morning, and at the moment I'm working on my spinning. I'm quite pleased with how it's spun up. I think I'm going for something between a 4-ply and a sport weight yarn, but I just enjoyed sort of spinning it, not worrying too much about how it looks. I just want to enjoy spinning rather than worrying about everything being absolutely perfect, because let's just face it, it's hand spinning. It's not going to look like a manufactured yarn that's been made in a factory. So I'm just going to enjoy it. Hopefully I'll get that spun up by next week. I did finish the last bit of the single ply this morning, so I'm going to leave that at least 24 hours before I start plying it, just to let it rest for a bit. I think it tends to ply up better if you do that. One little tip that I had from one of the ladies that I used to spin with is that once you've sort of finished your spinning, if you actually rest the yarn in the groove of the bobbin just to stop it from untwisting, that's quite a good little place to keep it, because you don't want the twist to come out, otherwise it won't stay as one piece, which is good. And I've got 2 of those, and hopefully that'll fit on one bobbin once it's plied together. So that's my spinning I've got to show you. And now I have some confessions. These are only little though, so it's not too bad, and with a very immediate purpose, hopefully. Right, so last week I showed you that I'd made a version of the Black Beauty bra, testing out the pattern to see how well it fit me. It wasn't too bad of a fit around the outside of the bust and the straps and the back and everything. It was just that the cup on this area here, there wasn't quite enough room. So what I'm going to do is do what I said on my Make 9 list anyway. I'm going to have a go at making a copy of an M&S bra that I've already purchased, and I know that fits me really, really well. I'm going to try that out, and then I'm going to actually have another go at the Black Beauty bra again, and make some modifications to the cut pieces just to give me a bit of extra room here. I know that there are tutorials out there already. I know that I've watched a Craftsy course where I can't remember the lady's name, but she talked about modifications of cut pieces, but I have recently watched Liz So's video on how to modify cut pieces to fit as well, so I have an inkling of how to do it. It's similar to what I do for normal modifications for dressmaking, but for some reason bra making is a bit more nerve-wracking, because tiny little changes can make all the difference. So that's the plan, and to do so I thought I'd buy some sort of black fabric so that I could have a go with not using my kit, because that's more expensive. So I looked on the Bra Shop, which is an Etsy shop, which I have purchased from before when I had my first go at trying to get bras to fit, which was particularly unsuccessful. So I started with the Quick Sew bra pattern, which was just, I think it was really, really bad fitting, really. The whole cup was just not good at all, so it would have been such a lot of work to modify that cup to fit me, so I kind of give up for a while. And trying the Black Beauty bra actually has given me a little bit more hope that I can get lots more bra patterns to fit. Anyway, I am waffling on here. So from the Bra Shop I wanted to get some fabric both for the back band of the bra in black, so I picked up some black bra satin which has got some stretch in it for the band at the side and the back of the bra. I thought that would be perfect. So there's a 1/2 metre there, but there is quite a wide piece, so I think that'll make a few bras. So that's the size of the piece that I bought, so that'll get me going at least. And then I wanted some firm fabric for the cup itself, and I wasn't sure whether I'd prefer either of these 2 fabrics. First of all, I got some sheer cup lining, which is pretty sheer, you can see straight through it, and this you can line lace with as well. You can use this underneath lace to give that bit of stability, and it's called sheer cup lining. So that's got quite a dense weave, but you can still see through it quite a lot. I say weave, but I'm not quite sure if it is woven or not, but you know what I mean, don't you? It's a sort of tricot fabric. And I also purchased some bra tulle. Now this seems lighter still to me, and I think slightly less firm than the cup liner, but still quite stable. So I could use that to line cups as well. I think I'm going to have to play around with materials to see which ones I prefer to use. So I've got quite a big piece of that, that's doubled over. So I can get a few bras out of that at least. So I'm really pleased with the quality of those fabrics, or at least they look really nice quality anyway. So I'm going to have a go with those to do a trial bra with my drafted pieces that I've made from a bra that I've had from Marks and Spencer's. So we have the Ask Me Anything section next, and I do apologise because I was going to get my wedding dress out of the attic this weekend, but I completely forgot. So I'm going to have to do that next week, I think. I might do it as a separate video as well, so people who are interested in dressmaking can sort of find it without having to look through a whole podcast. So I do have a question from Tracy, who was asking me, do I have any Easter related patterns or colourways coming out this year? And she was saying that she was knitting on my buttercup sock pattern, which I released a couple of years ago, which has got little paw prints up the side. I'm not planning on releasing any patterns, but I do have a couple of yarns that I'm going to bring out next week in a shop update next week. So I already have a bag in my shop that's like a hare running across a spring scene, so that's going to be still in the shop as well. I might do another free motion applique idea for next week as well, but I've got 2 new project bags so that I can quickly give you a sneak peek of this week that are coming out next week. So that sort of blends into my shop update section. And this week I have 2 main things that I'm going to talk about that are going to go in the shop. So I've got a needle update from Higher, and I've decided to stock Higher crochet hooks as well as the clover ones, because I think that I love the clover crochet hooks because they've got a lovely soft grip on them, but they're not quite as sharp on the tip as the Higher ones. So I thought if I actually stocked both, that would be ideal. Then you've got the best of both worlds. Although these haven't got the rubber handles, they do come in some gorgeous pretty colours. So I am going to be stocking these entire sets with the case as well in the shop, and they've got, I think there's 15 metal aluminium crochet hooks and 2 plastic ones because they're really big ones here. So it's got quite a nice bubble effect on the larger hook sizes, but the aluminium ones look something like this, but they've got a little bit of a sharper tip there for if you're doing very intricate patterns. So these full sets will be available in the shop, but I'll be selling the individual crochet hooks as well, or at least up to a size 9mm. And once you fold this case up, it looks like that, which I think is rather sweet. I do love the fabrics that Higher use for their cases, so there'll be a few of those going in the shop, as well as the individual needle sizes if you want to purchase those. Individual hook sizes, I should say. I will be updating some of my magic loop sets, so these are the same print but in 2 different colourways. The magic loop sets will be going in the shop as well because I've been out of stock of those for a few weeks, so those 2 colours for those will be going in. So I'm including some more needle sizes on my fixed needles on my website. Those are including the bamboo, the steel and the sharp needles, including from a size 12-inch cable to a 40-inch cable, and they'll be going up to 5mm now. So this Friday as well, the yarn clubs will be coming out, so they'll be available from Friday the 19th of March at 7 PM until the 2nd of April, which gives you 2 weeks to purchase, and they will be shipped on the 16th of April. So if you do order other things with your yarn club, they will all be shipped together unless you put in a separate order. So those are the April yarn clubs, available from Friday the 19th of March until the 2nd of April on my website, and then they will be shipped on the 16th of April. If you place an order for the yarn club and then perhaps you see something in next week's shop update and you want to add it, if you actually place a second order and just leave a note with your order for me to combine the orders, that's completely fine. It's just as long as you make a note so I notice that you've put a couple of orders in, and then when it comes to pack the orders I can pop them together and then refund you any shipping overages. I've got a couple of other things that I wanted to tell you as well. So I have now updated Ravelry with all my yarn bases so that you can actually link those in properly on Ravelry, which I finally got around to. That's taken me such a long time. I'm sorry that it's taken so long, guys. Also, I'm going to be starting to do a little bit of a newsletter when I have shop updates and things. So as soon as the shop updates go live, I'll then send an email out to everybody who's subscribed to the newsletter so that you'll know when everything's sort of up on the website. So you don't have to set a timer, you'll get an email to remind you when it's gone live. And all you need to do if you're not subscribed already is to go onto my website. If you scroll down to the bottom of any page, there's a little box on the right hand side. Just pop your email address in there and click submit and you should get the newsletter. So that's all the stuff that's going in this week's shop update, but I've got a sneaky peek of some of the things that are going to go in next week's shop update. That is the 26th of this month. So these things I'm going to show you now aren't going to go in the shop until next week, but if you do subscribe to the newsletter you will get an email through when the shop is updated with these. And I have a new colourway. So this one is going to be called Morning is Broken. It's inspired by the Cat Stevens song because I think that that is a very spring-like song to represent the start of our nicer weather. The birds are singing and the beautiful flowers are starting to spring up. There are some splashes of some different turquoises, dusky pinks, purple and blues in there as well. I do quite a delicate colourway, so it will be available as a sock set or you can purchase it by itself. This one is on my merino nylon base, but I will have it available on all the yarn bases in my shop as well. So for making socks I do recommend the merino nylon and Stellina, or the BFL and nylon base. If you want more durable socks, go for the BFL and nylon. If you want this lovely and soft, go for the merino. But as long as you've got some nylon, they should be pretty sturdy. So I have a couple of bags to show you as well. I'm not going to show you these properly until next week, but I thought I'd give you a bit of a sneaky peek. And I've pinned the little lavender sachets on there so that you can see what comes with them. So these are my new designs that I've been working on this week, and they'll be going in the update on the 26th. I may have another bag design for next week as well, so you'll have to watch next week's episode to see what's going to go in the shop exactly. I'm hoping to have all the accessory sets to go with those, and another bag like I said. So there we go. I think that's all I've got to show you today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I shall see you in the next episode. Bye!